Today, we're going to read a book called Move. The title of this book is Move. That means it's the name of the book. You can see on the title, the first letter is a capital M, and the other letters, O, V, and E, are lowercase letters. Every title has a capital letter at the beginning of each word, and the rest of the letters are lowercase. This book is written by author Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. Have you ever thought about how animals move? Before we read this book, I'd like you to try to move some of the different ways that animals in this book will move. Can you raise your arms up, pretend to grab the branch of a tree, and pretend to swing from one tree to the next? Swing is one way that animals move. I know that people usually walk, and that's one way that animals can move as well. Can you keep your body in one place and walk? Another way that animals can move is dive. Have you ever dove into the swimming pool? Can you put your hands together and pretend to dive into the water? Another way that animals move is swim. Have you ever been swimming before? Some animals can swim. Can you paddle your arms and pretend to swim? Some other ways that animals move are leap, slither. What kind of animal do you picture when you hear about a slithering animal? Climb. Can you climb? There are animals that can climb too. Fly. Fly is another way that a lot of animals move. Can you flap your arms and pretend to fly? Waddle. What animal do you picture when you hear of an animal that waddles? Can you put your hands by your side and your legs and feet close together and pretend to waddle? Run is another way that animals can move. Can you stand in one place and move your feet very quickly and pretend to run? That's another way humans can move as well. Animals can also dance, float, and even slide. As we read through this book, try to think of which animal moves in which ways. Swing, walk, dive, swim, leap, slither, climb, fly, waddle, run, dance, float, and slide. At the end, I'll ask you which animal was your favorite and which verb or action word described the way that animal moved. Have you ever thought about what could be the same between a spider and a polar bear? In this book, you'll find out one similarity or way that a spider and a polar bear are the same. What about a whale and an armadillo? Can you think of anything that's the same about a whale and an armadillo? Well, be sure and listen to the book to find out how a whale is like an armadillo. How about a snake and a praying mantis? Can you think of how a snake is like a praying mantis? At the end, I'll ask you again how the spider and polar bear were the same, how the whale and armadillo were the same, and how the snake and praying mantis were the same. I hope you enjoy this book about how animals move. Here's the title page of the book. The title again is Move. This punctuation is an exclamation point. This page is called the Table of Contents. The table of contents tells us what the book contains or what stories are inside the book. In this video, we'll only be reading the story Move, and that story starts on page 2. This story is an informational text, meaning that it's non-fiction. It's true or real. Since it gives us information, we can also call it an expository text. Animals move in different ways. Swing! A gibbon swings through jungle trees. What kind of animal is a gibbon? How does the gibbon move? Or walks on 2 back legs. Walk. A jacana walks on floating lily pads. Look at the giant feet on this bird called a jacana. What's one way that a jacana can move? Walks, just like a gibbon does. Then dives in to catch a fish. Dive. A blue whale dives deep, deep, deep. This bird can move in the same way as this whale. Swim. And swims below the ocean waves. An armadillo swims across a stream. Who knew? A whale and an armadillo are the same because they can both swim. Leap. And when startled, leaps straight up. Did you know that an armadillo can leap? A crocodile leaps to snag its meal. After slithering silently into the water. When you heard the word slithering, did you think of a crocodile? Slither. A snake slithers through rustling leaves. A crocodile and a snake both slither. And climbs up into a tree. Climb. Would you picture a snake when you heard me say the verb climb? A praying mantis climbs a blade of grass. Now you know how a snake and a praying mantis can be the same. They can both climb. Fly, then spreads its wings and flies. A roadrunner flies, but not too far. Run. It would rather run to catch its prey. An Arctic hare runs across the ground. Did you know that there are animals that we might call a rabbit that can also be called a hare? Hare is a specific name for certain kinds of rabbits. They certainly can run. Then dances, tumbling with its mate. A jumping spider dances to impress. Dance. Would you be impressed if you saw this spider dancing? then floats away on a thread of silk. Where does a spider float? Does a spider float in the water, or does a spider float in the air? Its thread of silk helps it float in the air. A polar bear floats in dark, icy water. Could a polar bear float in the air? No, but a polar bear can float in water. That's how a spider and a polar bear are the same. They can both move by floating. And slides down a snow-covered hill. Slide. A penguin slides, splash, into the sea. Can a person slide? This is another way a human can move in the same way as some animals. And waddles with its colony. When I told you the verb waddle, did you picture a penguin as you pretended to waddle? Waddle. Animals move in different ways. Waddle, slide, float, dance, run, fly, climb, slither, leap, swim, dive, walk, swing, move. How about you? As I say each verb or action word, can you picture the two animals that both moved in this way in the book? Waddle. Slide. Float. Dance. Run. Fly. Climb. Slither. Leap. Swim. Dive. Walk. Swing. I hope you enjoyed this book about how animals move. If you're curious and want to check this book out from the library, you can read lots more true, real, expository, non-fiction facts about each animal here in the back of the book. I told you I was going to ask at the end, now do you know how a spider is like a polar bear? They can both float. Can you remember how a whale is similar or the same as an armadillo? They can both swim. What about a snake and a praying mantis? Do you remember how those two animals compare? A snake and a praying mantis can both climb. I hope you enjoyed reading the book Move, and I hope as you go through your day and you swing, walk, dive, swim, leap, slither, climb, fly, waddle, run, dance, float, or slide, that you'll think about animals that can move in those same ways.